Hi, my name's Byron Martin here at Logie's Greenhouses, and today we're going to be talking about a South African bulb, Albuca spiralis, or better known as Albuca Frizzle Sizzle. This has become quite a popular plant for homes, mainly because of its frizzle and sizzle, which is the spiral leaves that form at the top of the plant, and also because of its ability to grow in homes and thrive. In terms of culture, it's a plant that really enjoys a bright sunny spot. That would be a southern window, direct sun, and that actually helps the growth as well as the spiraling leaves form properly. Being from South Africa, it's quite tolerant to drought, and it also has a period of dormancy if we dry it out. So you want to make sure in terms of culture that you dry the plant out a little bit between waterings, or you can actually dry it out fairly severely if you happen to be away on vacation and so on. But if you do it during the summertime and it goes for long periods of extended dryness, the plant will actually go into a dormancy where all the leaves will die back and they'll go back into the bulb. It's not dying, it is just going into its normal rest period. However, if you keep it moist during that period of time, oftentimes it'll continue to grow and hold its foliage. One of the interesting things about it is it does flower, and the flowers are actually quite attractive. They come up on a tall spike. They have a sort of yellow color to them and a greenish tone, and they also are very fragrant. Almost reminds us of paper whites in terms of the fragrance. One of the issues with growing the Albuca is that we sometimes lose our frizzle on the tips, and it's thought that by allowing them to go into flower, this causes this straight growth on the tips, and this will not recover from that once it has gone into bloom and they've straightened out, without it going back into dormancy and then put back into a very bright sunny spot and allowed to grow out again. When it begins to bud, if you trim the flower off like such, it can hold its curl rather than going straight like this. It doesn't always happen. We've watched these over a number of years. Some of them do, some of them don't. And it is recoverable just by letting go dormant. That means restricting water during the summertime, let them go back into the bulbs and then regrow out again, and the curls should appear. Here we have an older plant that we've had around the greenhouses for a number of years, and you can see this is an older bulb here. That was the original bulb. That's flowered several times probably. A new one is flowering. Oh, this is actually from last year, so that one's beginning to bloom, and it's held its curly tips on it. You can see here that this has been growing without dormancy, and you can see here some of the tips have turned brown. That's actually normal, and you simply just need to groom them off so they're not so unsightly. But all of the new growth coming in down in the bottom of here has that spiral growth to it. It's good to grow in a clay pot also. That gives a quick dry down. Most growers just keep them slightly on the dry side between waterings. In terms of fertilizer, they do appreciate some feed from time to time, particularly during the active growing season. I would not overdo it though, being bulbs, succulent type plants. You don't want them to get too soft, but you should feed them probably once a month with a dilute solution during their active growth. And even if you're going to keep them green all year round, you can continue to do that. Winter time, when our light level is low, the rule of thumb with all feeding is to back off on that. Over time, the plants get quite large, and as you can see, this older plant is put off offsets. If you wanted to make more plants out of this, you could simply tap it out and pull it apart and divide it. Each one of these would make a plantlet. Or if you have young plants, here's some that are coming out of our plug cells. These are about 2-inch plugs. That actually is filled up the entire plug the bulb has, and so it's time to move it up. We've got a 4-inch pot here. That's fine for that. Normally, if it was a plant that had some root disease problems, I wouldn't pot it up so large, but with this particular plant, we're going to be growing it on the dry side, so it will happily grow for 2 or 3 years before it needs to be repotted. With any plant that we pot up, we've got to make sure that we give them a good drink after our potting, and within time, this plant will turn into a beautiful specimen with multiple bulbs on it. Just takes a few years. Well, thank you for watching. There's a little bit of information on Albuca spiralis, or the corkscrew plant. If you'd like more information, please visit us at logies.com.